Okay.
Am I okay like this? Because I've got the light behind me, actually. Shall I bring this in a bit?
So oh, that's better.
Yeah.
It's better when you have that, because the white reflects, the deal actually reflects light on you, so there's more light on you.
Yeah.
So hold your thought about what you were talking about, and go ahead and give us an introduction of who you are, because that's what we always start with.
Of course.
So this is Kostas
Lambropoulos.
Lambropoulos. Okay.
That's it.
So say your name properly,
okay,
and then give us an introduction.
Okay. The Greek version is Kostas Lambropoulos or Constantinos Lambropoulos. You want the full version. The English version is Lambropoulos. Most of my uncles that are actually in the States, they cut it to Lambros. So all of them, they call Lambros now over there. Okay, so I'm a guy that was born in Greece about 55 years ago. I lived in Greece up to the age of 21. Then I came to the UK to study. I studied computers in Greece. I came over here to study my other lab, which was engineering, cars. I created a small motor racing outfit. I raced Formula Fords. Then I went out, and it was the back 80s, and there was not enough sponsorship to go around. So I started working for IBM. Then I went contracting. So from 96 sort of till up to 2000 and sort of probably up to about 6 years ago, I was contracting. I had a small break, tried to go back to Greece, to fantastic island of Kefalonia. And then it didn't work out. Then I came back to the UK. And then for the past 6 years, I'm working as a program manager for NHS blood and transplant, mainly as IT program manager, but also worked on many other areas as well. And one more of my loves is obviously human development. And also I love to move, explore, meeting people, travel. So I love sailing, I love flying, I'm doing aerobatics, I'm scuba diving, and I love just going around the world, meeting people and exploring new cultures and everything in this planet or out of this planet if I could. So that's me.
So before we get back to your previous thought, I know you have a thought you want to finish, but before we go back to it, our previous conversation hit an interesting note for me when you mentioned that you had worked directly with Richard Bandler. So could you spend a minute or 2 or 3 minutes explaining A, how you met him, B, what you learned from him, and C, anything else that's interesting about NLP that you could give away in very quick, short order that you think people must know about NLP?
Yeah. Okay. I met Richard Bandler together with probably another person you probably know in the States, Paul McKenna. Paul McKenna, he was very famous in the UK. He was doing a lot of stage stuff in the TV, but then he had personal experiences, so he changed a lot to helping people through hypnosis overcome things.
So he was a stage hypnotist. He was a stage hypnotist.
Yes, stage hypnotist, and was doing a lot of stuff on TV, which that set him up very difficult. It was made it very difficult for him to be understood as a sort of clinical hypnotherapist or as a person that you could help people overcome trauma. It was a really big thing there because people remember him always as the person which made people, to do, funny things on TV and stuff like that in a stage setting. So that it was really a disadvantage, at the point. Where I met them both, it was when I've done in the UK, Paul McKenna had a big operation at the time, I think must be around 2005, 2006, around then. So I've done my NLP training with them, and I've done my NLP master prac as well. I've done my NLP prac and master practitioner as well with them, and they were both amazing experiences. They were life-changing experiences. I mean, as you said, also through that, I met one of his team, which is Vicky Ross. She's one of the only 3 or 4 in the Europe that she is actually authorized to do the NLP business training module as well. And we've done some NLP training in Greece, and Vicky still doing it. If you do Vicky Ross, she's doing both training in Greece and UK as well. So I met them through that. And for me, NLP really is just a state of mind or a state of understanding that we have options, that we can do things in our life. And then really the way I see it is our mind is like another, the same way we actually train our body, we need to train our mind. So NLP is just one of the tools that we can use to train our mind, if I put it very, very simply and very simplistic.
Well, the only thing I remember, I had like one day of NLP training. I paid a guy $5,000 to give me his marketing knowledge. He was making like $3 million a year as a hypnotist, and had 30 people working for him, his father and everybody. Guy was making buku dollars, but ended up selling his practice in the end. But in addition to the marketing techniques for 5K, which was
it wasn't good,
a little expensive. I mean, I never how do I put this? I never went far enough in push and promoting my own practice to really get a good practice going. I had a practice, but I didn't advertise. There was no Google stuff back then. There was no easy way to advertise, and I guess I didn't have enough confidence in spending the money marketing to push myself. So my practice didn't grow. I had clients, but it really wasn't that good, even though I'm pretty good at it. So anyway, so Richard Bandler and Grinder, I can't remember Grinder's first name.
And Grinder, and what happened was they had an argument, so it's broken down NLP, and that's one of the problems for NLP. Both of them gone different ways, so then they were creating 2 functions within NLP world. So if you were doing Bandler stuff, you were not getting accredited from Grindler, and the other way around. So I went down the Bandler sort of route because Bandler was the one I was trained under, because this is the person that Paul McKenna invited in the UK. And I'm also on my hypnotherapy certification. Actually, I've got 2 certifications. One is from HMI in the UK, in the States, which is a Greek guy. It's called, I don't know if you've heard of him. He was called John Kappas, and he created HMI in LA, and he is the guy who's created in the States the actual definition of hypnotherapist. So if you look on your work definitions in the States, within the Department of Employment, or how it's called over there, the actual definition, it was defined by, John Kappas created it. And it was, that training I've done with them, it was absolutely amazing. And now I've also done training, and I'm now a teacher hypnotherapist through the part of NLP that is, again, the Bandler side, and is from what is called in the States is the American Board of Hypnosis, ABH. Well, so it has been a little bit weird on that, but everybody at the end of the day working for the same thing, just to help people.
So I'm familiar with HMI in the sense that I hadn't really heard of Mr. Kappas, but I have linked up and linked in with a bunch of the HMI students, and I've seen one of their leaders and his wife, and it's about all I remember about HMI. I know it's near Hollywood. It's in
Boulevard. Yeah, it is. Can't remember the name. Something Boulevard. But I've got it. It's
like Costa Mesa or something. It's
yeah.
real close to Hollywood.
What they really done, I think, it was the very first college in the US and actually in the world that I know, that they really started the online stuff. And even now, I've still got material which I'm doing, for reevaluation and stuff online. And then they've got really, it was the people that started the online training, and that must be over 10 years ago, well before everybody else was actually even thinking on doing anything remotely, to do it online.
So do you know what HMI charges? Do you have any idea what their fees are?
Yeah, the actual course is about roughly $2,500. That's what I paid for a year.
For how much? How much training do you get for that 2,500?
It's 10 modules. Each module is got 6 sub-modules, and each one of them is about 2-3 hours online, plus your own work to do. So to me, I found it was really incredible, the training.
So you don't have to go to California to train with them, right?
You can do it online as well, and you can have your teacher over Skype or over phone. You have support, remote support, and I had that for over 10 years now through them.
So how long does it take to go through the 10 modules?
You have to do it within a year. You have to take it within a year. You have to do it.
So there was a guy, I've been around this business for a long time. I know some of the big names, not personally, but of who they are. There was a gentleman out of California. I assume he's LA, but I don't know for sure. I can't remember his name, but back in the day, he was actually more powerful he predates HMI, and in his day, he was like the most powerful guy in hypnotherapy in the world.
What was his name?
I'm trying to remember it. I don't remember.
I mean, there were some Greek guys as well. Another Greek guy, which I have, and I have one of the books that he worked on. It's called Peter Lambrou, and he's done a lot of scientific research with other guys as well. But he's done a lot of work on hypnosis, but also on tapping as well, EFT. So it's a lot of scientific work that's done by him, and also a couple of other guys as well. But I think, obviously, Milton Erickson, he was the big one, and Krasner, he was another big guy over there in the States. It's a Krasner model of hypnotherapy. So that was another guy, and he's written the book, The Wizard Within. That's Krasner is another one. And then obviously Tad James, which is the guy now that he's run, that's the other book, which is Hypnosis Comprehensive Guide. Tad James, which is the guy now that he's getting really old now. He's on over 85, 90. And he's the one that he started the American Board of Hypnosis, which I'm certified from as an instructor.
Well, the guy I'm talking about, I wish I knew his name off the top of my head. He was the first person that I know of in the US who pushed everybody to have official certifications that were recognized by the state itself, by any state. And there's only one state that's done that, and that's California. And he's the one that got that all started. And that was way before HMI.
Okay.
And like 20 years before, 30 years before HMI. And so he was the first guy that kind of forced the people to be certified by the state. And I'm going to search and see if I can find his name here. These are all new people. history. Okay, so you're familiar with the guy who, the Russian guy from way back that healed the Tsar's kid?
I don't know if we talk about the same guy, but I know that a Russian guy, a Russian doctor, is a guy that's responsible for bringing hypnotherapy into the operating theater.
Well, no. Okay, the guy I'm talking about, he healed the last Tsar of Russia. He healed him. He was, at the time, he was the son of the current Tsar at that time, and he healed the Tsar's son, and the Tsar's son became the next Tsar. Okay, and the Tsar's son was the last Tsar of Russia.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm trying to find his name. He was, people considered him evil, but I met a Russian fellow, an engineer. He was retired from he worked for the World Bank as an engineer, and he retired from that. But before he was an engineer for World Bank, he was a Russian government official, and he had access to Russian. Orman McGill, that's the guy I was trying to think.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Orman McGill was the guy in California who started the idea that hypnotherapists in California have to be certified by the state.
Yes, and a lot of people from HMI, they have invited him over, and they were talking a lot about him in HMI.
Well, I knew a lady in Oregon who moved in the circles with Orman McGill and those guys back in the day. And I could say things, but Orman's still around, so I better keep my mouth shut. I'll just say I heard rumors about him that were not favorable.
Okay.
And
about McGill, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, you might call me out on it, and I won't mind staring him down publicly, because
I'm trying to keep the good from everyone and leave the other stuff out. That's my attitude in life.
Yeah, me too. I have no ill will I want to get with anybody. I'm just giving you information. So anyway, let me do the one last thing I want to ask you about here real quick. Let's see, Google again. Actually, there's two things I want to bring up. His name was Gregory Rasputin.
Okay.
Remember him?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I've heard the name.
Okay. So Gregory Rasputin was a hypnotist, right? And he had the Russian family under his thumb. Okay. They thought he was the best thing since bread and butter. Okay. And a lot of people considered him evil. Okay. So I was down at what's the name of the river that goes through Washington, D.C.? Potomac. Yeah. I was down at the Potomac River. I'd ridden down there on my bicycle, and I was sitting there watching the boats come and go. And there was this guy that I just told you about. He was a guy who retired from the World Bank as an engineer and was previously a Russian government official. And he had access to the KGB stuff, actual, real, firsthand KGB, not going through somebody from somebody, but as part of the government, he had access to KGB documents directly himself, right? So we got in this real long conversation about Gregory Rasputin. And I said to him, one of the things I asked him was, how did Gregory heal the Tsar's son, the last Tsar of Russia? How did he heal him? And I may not even ask him that question, but he gave me the answer, whether I asked it or not. I don't remember if I asked the question. But he gave me the answer either way. One of the things he said about Gregory was he was into orgies. So he said in that time they would start an orgy, and it would start whatever noon, and it wouldn't end till 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. the next day. So it was almost like a 24-hour orgy. And he said Gregory Rasputin was the most virile man he'd ever heard of in his entire life. He could just screw women left and right all day long and all night long and just go and go forever and ever. They had no Viagra back then. So anyway, so regardless of that, he said, without whether I asked him or not, he said, you know how he healed the Tsar's kid, right? And that's the last Tsar of Russia. I can't even remember his name, but anyway, this guy had a book he wanted to get published about the last Tsar of Russia. So he knew what he was talking about in reference to the Tsars. He had looked through the official government KGB and non-KGB documents about all that stuff, and he knew what, the government of Russia tried to kill Gregory a number of times. So he knew all the details about how they tried to kill him, how he was working with the Tsar, and all the details. He knew everything about the Tsar because he, researched it to the 10th degree. And so he said the way he healed the Tsar's son had nothing to do with hypnosis. He said he healed him on his knees. And I was like, what do you mean he healed him on his knees? He said he prayed to Mother Mary all day and night. And that's how he healed the Tsar's son, by prayer. So I thought that was interesting. Anyway, so one last thing I want to tell you before we move on, and I'll start asking you more questions. And that's do you know who Wolf Messing was?
No.
Okay, so Wolf Messing was a Russian stage hypnotist. And he lived at the same time as Stalin. Okay. So when Wolf Messing was a stage hypnotist, this was in Moscow, okay, and Stalin was at that time had two positions. He was probably the most famous man in Russia. Stalin was, but he was not the head of the whole country. At that time, he was the governor of Moscow, and he was the head of the secret police. When I say the secret police, I'm talking the secret police that predated the KGB, long before the KGB. Okay, so Wolf Messing, being a stage hypnotist in the same city as Stalin, so he's hypnotizing people on the stage, right? And so he had a talent that very few people have. He could hypnotize you without your permission. Okay, he could just walk up to you and bang, you're in a state of hypnosis, without doing anything, without even street stage hypnosis where they get you.
Like Erickson.
I didn't know Erickson had that talent, but Wolf Messing could hypnotize anybody without their permission. Okay, without any, look at this or do this, just do it, bang. Okay, and so Stalin heard about this, so he didn't believe it. He was a skeptic. So Stalin told his people, "I want you to go and test Wolf Messing, and I want you to make sure that he has this talent or he doesn't have this talent. I want to find out." He didn't believe the stories, but he wanted to find out one way or the other. So what his people did was they went and arrested Wolf, put him in jail. Okay, so the city jail was like right across the street or just down the street, walking distance from where Stalin's office was. It was probably right across the street, right? Okay, So they put Wolf Messing. This is a story I heard. I don't absolutely know that it's true. I know Wolf Messing was a real person. I don't know if this story is true, but this is a story I've heard, and I believe it's true. Anyway, so they put Wolf in the city jail, and at that time they didn't lock the jail cell. What they did was they left the jail cell door open, and the guard would sit literally on a bench right in front of the cell door outside the cell. And if you walked past that cell door, he'd pick up his baton and beat you to death, you know, and you're just going to die right there. So you did not go past the cell door, but the cell door is open, right? So what he did was Wolf's in this cell, and he put the thought in this guy's mind, the guard's mind, that he needed to use the restroom. So the guard got up and went to use the restroom. So Wolf just walks right out of the cell, and he walks towards the exit in the building. And there's a guard that sits at a desk right in front of the front door. And nobody gets in and out of the building unless he goes past this guard. So he walks right in front of this guard, and he stops, and he looks at the guard, and the guard sees, instead of seeing Wolf, he sees Stalin. Instead, he stands up and he salutes Stalin, being the head of the secret police and the governor of the city. He's like, the important man is here. He salutes. He's like, see ya. And he walks right out of the building, walks across the street, maybe down the block or two down or whatever, walks into Stalin's office, goes into his office and said, I passed your test. I'm out. So that's how a stage hypnotist who could hypnotize people without their permission proved himself to Stalin back in the day. I just had to tell that story because I thought you might enjoy it. So I'm gonna turn this back over to you. So okay. If you want to talk about Richard Bandler, if you want to talk about your
I think it's the thing. One of the things I want to talk about is that in my journey, what I found is that there are techniques, and NLP is just one of these techniques. EFT is another one that's very, very useful, which I'm using very much with hypnosis, particularly with people that they want to change habits. And I found them very, very useful and very effective as well. But people want to stop binge eating, you know, what we say, eating their feelings, or people want to stop smoking, or any kind of thing like that. So I found that very useful. But over the years, I became a lot more spiritual, and I don't just believe on the tools. And it's the same with my wife. She's a Reiki master, but through now our practice, we have created our own, call it method. And she's actually on her book is all about her new method. But and the way I'm doing it as well. And we met, and the interesting thing is, I already have a 20-year-old son through my previous marriage. And when I met Rania, which is my wife now, we met 3 years ago, and we're in Greece, and we're just talking about hypnotherapy, you know, just we're talking as practitioners really, met through Facebook and stuff. Went out for a drink, I touched her hand, seriously, just like that, I touched her hand. I knew through the energy that would be it. That's it. She is for me, I'm for her. Within a week.
You're talking about your wife?
Yeah. So okay. She's now my wife. Okay, we're 3 years together. She's left everything in Greece. She came over here a week after we really first met. Okay, and I touched her hand. She knew it. I knew it. She had sold everything. We have done the plan. That was the 1st of May. Sorry, 1st of May, 98. That was, I think it was Wednesday, or sorry, that was, I can't remember, it was beginning of the week. And by the end of the week, we have arranged how she will come to the UK, how we'll go and get married, and how she will sell everything in Greece, come over here. And that's how exactly that's happened. And this is the intuition I think we get into, where we really go inside and we connect. And I feel that what's inside is outside. you know, the universe, we're a microcosm of what's out there. And it's just amazing. Everything that happens in my life in the past, I don't know, since probably 2008. 2008, there were my big lessons that I learned with a lot of pain. I've gone through depression, I had lots of stuff. I was over in Greece with the divorce and everything else. Then after that, you hit bottom, you're coming back again, and you really start finding yourself. And as you find yourself, what I found is the more you coming to your calling, to your path in life, the lessons, they don't have pain anymore. So the more you are closer to your calling, more you're closer to doing what you really are to do in this life, the lessons you learn are difficult. But it's like you learn a lesson, like you learn everything. You know, I want to learn maths. It's difficult, but you know, I'm sitting down and I'm learning them. I want to learn something new. You're sitting down, you're learning it. It's nice. You're enjoying it. It's tough because you need to learn, but you learn and then, you know, you grow out of it. But the lessons, they don't include any pain. So I think this is the biggest thing I think personally I found. And I found that through my calling and everything I'm doing is learning how to listen to the voice that's inside, which is the real, I don't know, you can call it higher self, you can hear it God, you can hear it universe, you know, everybody's got different names for it. But to me, learning to listen to that voice, it also saved my life as well in Greece. I've been with a friend in Greece on my motorbike. I've got a 650 in Greece, a BMW, a 650 bike in Greece. And I was out on an eco community with a friend in Greece. And then we're coming back on the motorway. We stayed over for the night with sleeping bags and stuff all on the back. Then I was getting to the motorway in Athens. We're on about, I can't remember, 90 kilometers from Athens. And then I looked on, you know, on the gauges on the bike. Everything was fine. I didn't need fuel. Everything was fine. And, you know, on the motorway, you're doing about, in Greece, you're doing about, I don't know, 70 miles, about 120. I think there's a limit there. 120, 140, something like that, 140 Ks, about 80 miles, something. And just at that moment, I've heard it on this side of my head. That's where I hear that voice. And to me, at that time, it was a very interesting thing that I was searching at the time to find which is the right voice to hear inside me when I want to take a decision. Because we have lots of, you know, voices in our head. Some voices, you know, they're the, you know, the ones that, you know, the negative ones, the ones that, oh, you cannot do this, you know, you are not capable of, or whatever. You know, all these things that we have in our mind through the belief system that we build up from our parents and before. But then you have that voice, okay, that I found that I heard personally, I heard on this side. And it's a very nice, steady, calm, really easygoing voice. And it gives you the option. So he said to me, going to the petrol station. For a split second, you know, I was doing about 80 miles an hour, and I was just about coming up to the entrance on the motorway, to the entrance of the petrol station. So for a moment, I just ready, where should I go? I looked, you know, we're talking now, this happened in my head within split second. Okay, so I'm looking at the gauges, nothing on the bike, just I cannot see any reason. It's just probably the curious side of me, okay? And something, just a feeling inside me, made me go into. So I'm going into, and just before even I get to the pumps, the bike is doing a goop and stops. And then I see guys coming out of the petrol stations, out of the petrol station, okay? They're doing, you know, the cross in Greek. They keep looking at us. I say, what the heck's happened? So, you know, putting the stand down, coming out, and what do I see? As I'm coming down, all the things that we had on the back have fallen on the back, and just getting all the sleeping bag, all the things, because they were plastic, and I didn't have a rubber band to hold them. I just had a band, but it wasn't a rubber band. So it had worked itself loose as we're coming down from the eco center because it was off-road. So what had happened, that big rope thing, which was about that thick, was really, really thick. It had worked its way between the chain and the wheel in the wind, and it's actually gone round and round and round and actually stopped the back wheel. If I wasn't gone into the petrol station, if I hadn't heard that voice, okay, now we'll probably be, I don't know if we would be dead, we were wearing helmets, but we're doing 80. So on the motorway, I don't know, what conditions would be. But to me, it was one of now many times, many examples where when I want to take a decision, I go inside me and I use meditation or, whatever. You don't have to be meditating for 10 hours or whatever. Just enough just to go, be relaxed, go inside you and wait to listen or ask for a message to come in any kind of way. You may be able to see the message. You're looking out in the street or may feel it or you may hear it. I found I have different ways of getting, but to me, that was one of the most interesting first experiences I had, because at the time, I was asking that question, what is the right voice, or how do I know I'm taking the right decision in my life? And that was the first one. Then the second one, obviously, was with Rania, with my wife, when I touched her hand, and I felt the energy, and I knew it. And this is the kind of energy I'm using when I'm working with people, like we're talking now. And, that's, I don't know, the universe brought us together for some reason. I don't know why. We may find out. But I work with people as far as Australia, over Skype or anywhere, in Greece. I've got sessions tomorrow in the morning with people in Greece. So I found that when you get to the point where to start feeling the energy, space is one, everything is one. It doesn't matter if I've got somebody is opposite me on the table, if it's in the other side of the world, you feel that energy, you feel that connection. And I found this, exploring that, even more amazing. And through that connection, I've gone to the guys where I'm learning now, which is Wim Hof, and learning about his method, because he's been some amazing stuff. His wife left him with 4 kids because she's got disturbed and she's gone down from the 6th floor of a building, and she left him with 4 kids. And
she committed suicide.
Yeah, and that's why he's gone to the cold. The cold, it was his savior, because it was the only thing it could make him live, because it was the only thing could make him be there. You cannot, if you are in the cold, freezing water, you cannot just be thinking, all your shit in your mind. Sorry for the expression, but you cannot living. You have to be living there, listen to your body.
So the cold makes him be in the present tense.
Yes,
in his head.
exactly. That was his big lesson, and that's what he's trying to get over to the world. Breathing and cold exposure is proven actually through, again, if I can repeat this one very quickly, through scientific research, he's proven that through cold exposure and the right kind of breathing, we can actually enhance our body's ability to defend both the nervous system, also defend viruses or anything else. And that's proven scientifically, and the research is on his website. If you go and you see Wim Hof, the science, you'll see all the experiments. And actually, we're doing a lot of experiments now, and the big pharmas, they don't want us to go out. And we're pretty cheesed off about it at the moment, but we're still fighting, we're still getting stuff out. And more will be coming out, both from Wim Hof, both from the academy, because all the time we talk now, there are a lot of research happening in the background, and also from this guy, which is, again, another fantastic instructor, which is Patrick McKeown, and is the oxygen advantage method, which is all about breathing, can be both medicinal, but also it can kill you. Breathing from the mouth is actually killing us. And I couldn't believe it. It's just, and the science is all there. Science is all there. If you have people, particularly kids, if we know the kids and they have, the bottom side of the mouth is elongated a lot, or they need a lot of orthodontic work, is because they're breathing from the mouth. Okay, if they stop breathing from the mouth, we tell them hold the mouth closed and breathe from the nose. All that is going to sort itself out. And like I said, is up to 1 month ago, I was snoring. Okay, now I don't snore anymore. That's it. I keep my mouth closed when I'm sleeping. Okay, there are ways of actually teaching you how to do that. So I've done through that over 3 weeks. So now it's becoming now an unconscious way of doing it as well, but also learning how to breathe properly from the nose. That enhances, you know, my well-being, my energy. I've run 5K for first time last week, only breathing from the mouth, only breathe from the nose, and I felt like a walk in the park. I felt like I haven't run at all. It's amazing. And scientific research again shows us that if you run, if you run and you're breathing from the nose, you need 1/3 less energy, 20% less energy to breathe. So imagine over a marathon, which is 2-3 hours, spending 20% less energy per minute is just amazing. You know how much more energy you have at the end. For every other things as well. You can simulate, again, through the breathing, you can simulate altitude training. And it's all about the role of CO2 and nitric oxide in the body. That was never really taken, you know, everybody thought, oh, because CO2 is so bad in the atmosphere and everything else, within our body, it's fantastic. What makes us want to take a breath is CO2 depletion. So the CO2, if we learn how to actually manage that, we can actually increase both our well-being, our breathing, our you know, everything, and mental capacity as well. In the gym that I'm here, my local gym, okay, the machine is giving me my age is 55. Okay, the gym machine thinks I'm 35. My Garmin watch thinks I'm 45, and I'm not doing anything else than actually breathing differently. So it's just absolutely amazing.
So the guy that you just showed, the Russian guy?
No, he's not the Russian guy. This guy is Patrick McKeown. So if you go on, I'll tell you what is the Russian guy that he was instructor first, and then he created his method because the Russian method was just too rigid. So let me go. I'll tell you in a second. It's just on YouTube. Oxygen advantage. And the Russian method, because he's got it on, no, I need to go on the Audible. There is on Audible. He's created a book, Oxygen Advantage is a book as well, but it's also on YouTube as well. We've got a channel. Let me, I think it was Yurchenko, I think it was the method. Yeah, Buteyko Clinic. He's the Russian guy who studied it, and then Patrick was trained by him, and he brought it over to Europe. He's an Irish. Patrick is Irish. But if you go to Oxygen Advantage YouTube, you'll find lots of very, 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 very interesting things there. It's amazing information there. And the same on Wim Hof's website, on the Wim Hof method, WHM method. And again, if you go on the WHM, the science, you'll see all the scientific research that we have up to now and what we're working on at the moment. So for both methods, I'm working to be an instructor. I've done all the training for the Oxygen Advantage, and now I'm going through getting my certification. And Hof, I'm going to be starting in August, looking to finish by February, which will be 1 week. We'll go up on a mountain either in Spain or in Poland, walking just with pair of shorts and pair of boots up on the mountain on -20 after proper breathing, and breathing all the way through, going up the mountain with just with a pair of shorts.
So the guy you mentioned was Patrick McKeown?
Yeah.
McKeown.
Yeah. McKeown.
That's the name. He's got a lot of YouTube videos.
Yeah. If you look on that, it's very interesting information. It's all the science there.
You're familiar with the Russian guy who's the #1 freediver? Can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name, but all of them, they were using these techniques to actually be able to go down, and they used to go up to 12 minutes underwater. I think the world record now is about 19 minutes underwater.
Actually, it's not. I just looked it up. It's 25.
25. It's gone up 25.
Yeah.
Wow.
The guy
Blimey.
who did it right here. It's where's it at? I had it in a second ago.
Just amazing what our body can do.
Yeah, here we go. 56-year-old freediver holds breath for almost 25 minutes.
Mm.
I don't even know who. I've never even heard of this guy.
But the important thing for me is enough for people to understand that you don't even have to be a free diver. You don't have to train so hard for them and to go like that. For helping your immune system, okay? And I'm saying it straight out. I haven't done any of the injections, okay? Because what I'm doing, I'm consciously working on my body to make sure my immune system is really, really up to it to defend anything. So at the moment, every day I have at least 2 minutes cold exposure, ice bath, and also I'm working through with my breathing with both techniques. It's not good to do both techniques the same day, so I'm doing one day I'm doing Wim Hof, one day I'm doing oxygen advantage stuff for my training. So and it's absolutely amazing. I mean, one example I can give on Wim Hof, if you do 30 of the breaths that Wim Hof says, the test is, and you see how powerful it is, you can do push-ups. Do as many push-ups you think you can do. And then do the breathing, 30 breaths, the Wim Hof method, and then do your push-ups again. And you'll see that you'll double your push-ups just by changing your breathing. It's just absolutely amazing. And also it's just a personal example. My wife, up to last year, she had always injuries. We play tennis on the local tennis club. She always had injuries. She could never come out of an injury. She was never very fit. And since last year that I started really going really during, when we're inside because of the COVID stuff, I thought that, the best thing to do is to strain my body and my mind more than I was doing before. And my wife, she followed as well. Since 1st of January, for the whole of January in the UK, which with temperatures around 0, I was doing cold showers outside on my Facebook page. And I was doing that for charity, to raise money for the National Health Service in the UK. And my wife started following me. She wasn't really going for that much at the time, but only about 10 seconds at a time, 20 seconds at a time. But 30 seconds a day, cold exposure is enough to really wake up, your immune system. So the outcome of that was that about just after now that in the UK we came out of the sort of lockdown, about last month, we had in the local tennis club, we had a tournament. So I came second, and from the first guy, I was really, I only lost on the 7-6 on the, and then my wife, she came third. So everybody was asking her, what have you done? How can you be so good? Have you done any secret training, during the lockdown? And the only things he's done, he was just training like I was doing. We haven't even done it. We trained in our mind and our body, but not physically tennis training. So it shows you, you know, how powerful it is.
So you're doing a bunch of training, self-training is what you're
Yeah.
learning these days, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and train the mind. It's like it's a muscle. The mind is if people can see that the mind needs training like your muscles in the body. If you see that is your mental muscle, and you cannot expect your mind to do things, you know, when you train it. It's like somebody say, okay, tomorrow morning I'm going to put my running shoes on and I'm going to run a marathon in 2.5 hours. You cannot do it because you haven't been trained for it. But if you train for it, you know, you can get closer and closer to, you know, to your target. Same thing with your mental muscle. And I found that through cold exposure, through the breathing, through the training, you know, for us, COVID, it was like a holiday and still is. You don't feel, I mean, work from home anyway. And I think one of the successful things you can see if you are on the face of your partner all the time and she is on your face, and you know you don't argue, you know that's you're in a good place. And you know we're here for since 2008. For the past 2 years we're working daily in and out. You know we're 24 hours a day nearly together, and we don't have any arguments. You know it's like we can have some disagreements, but we never had any arguments. And that's how yeah, I'm the right person in that supports me and I support her, and we're doing things. And now she's working on the book and I'm supporting her and help her. And with the book coming out, we hope to come out this year, because now it's got to go through editing. It was written in Greek, so obviously we'll have to be published in Greek first and then do all the translation. It's a lot of work to come, but I think it's one of the most important contribution into the world.
Well, I used to know a guy, I used to work with a guy at Treasury Department who was Greek, and he showed me the Greek language on paper. I said, that really is Greek. They say it's all Greek to me.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't understand it, right?
Yeah.
The Greek language in writing to me is almost as mysterious as Russian or Chinese.
It's the same alphabet.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the same alphabet. Greek and Russian is the same alphabet.
Cyrillic?
Yeah, it's coming from that. Yeah.
So, how long has it been since you've been in Greece?
I was born in Greece, so.
I mean, recently. When was the last time you went there?
Oh, last October.
Okay, so which island did you go to?
Kefalonia. And Ionian Islands are some of the best places for people to go for holidays. And also for if anybody's sailing, is one of the best places in the world to go for sailing. The Ionian Sea is one of the best holidays in the world for sailing holidays, for flotilla holidays. So all the way from Corfu, all the way down to Kefalonia or Zante.
I was talking on LinkedIn, post not like directly with you and me, but just through posts.
Yeah.
I would reply to somebody's post, and they reply to my reply to their post. There was this one guy who's fairly wealthy. I won't say his name at the moment, but he was saying that Hawaii was his favorite place in the whole world, and I was like, I thought your favorite place was Utah. Anyway, so Hawaii versus Greece.
Would love to come to Hawaii. We feel the energy there.
Hold on. Let me get this question out. Hawaii versus Greece versus what's the islands that are so pretty? Everybody knows about. It's
Maldives.
No. Well, the Maldives are nice, but they're so remote. This island is almost as remote as the Maldives, but it's more well known than the Maldives. Do you know what I'm talking about? The
It could be. Is it just off the Gulf of Mexico? Is that what you're talking about?
No.
Santa Lucia and all these islands over there? No.
Hold on. Oh, there's Maldives, there's Bora Bora, there's Philippines, Seychelles, I don't know. There's Greece, there's Cook Islands, Indonesia. Oh God, they don't have the one I'm looking for though. Have you ever seen the TV series Below Deck?
No.
You never seen?
I don't have time. I don't have time to watch telly.
Oh, okay, that's right. You're making a living at what people should be making a living at, healing people, not corporate.
I'm doing too many things. I can't have enough time on the day.
Well, but you're self-training, plus you're working at a practice where you're healing, where you're making your money healing people through hypnotherapy, and so you're sort of living the dream that a lot of people have, is breaking out, never being a part of the corporate structure. And
I've been through by being, a contractor. I was many years. I've done one of the biggest and best project from financial term, but also one of my dream contract. It was to be in the UK, to be out in the countryside, to work in the city, and travel the world. Well, and I've done that in 2008, working for Barclays Africa, or being on contract to Barclays Africa, by being on contract into the city, in London City, also working from just outside Manchester on the place where Barclays' IT center is, and then traveling to South Africa within that year for 3 times at 10 days at a time, obviously business class, because it's 12-hour flight. So it was absolutely my best contract ever.
I was thinking of, geez, I had it a minute ago. You made me forget it.
Sorry.
Okay, so
sorry, my fault.
It's okay. I had it a minute ago.
I thought you said something about living my dream and working with hypnotherapy.
No. Before that, I was formulating a question for you, because you're an expert. You've been to Greece, you've been to different places, and I was curious as to what you thought was the most beautiful, Hawaii versus Greece versus this other place that I was trying to come up with, Tahiti.
Ah, okay, yes.
Tahiti is the place I want to go to, because
okay.
You should watch a TV series called Below Deck, because they have two different series. One is Below Deck Mediterranean, so those guys go to Italy and Greece and all the beautiful places in that area. Okay, and the other one is Below Deck. What's the Tahiti is? There's the area around Tahiti. It has there's a name for the larger area around there that Tahiti's a part of. Yeah. And it's called.
I know what you mean. How's it called?
I don't remember the name of it, but there's a name for that area it's the larger area that Tahiti's a part of. It's another name. Okay, so there's a Below Deck that's got that other name there. Mm-hmm. So they go. It's not just Tahiti. They go to all the places around that whole area. So it's got that Tahiti. It's got Below Deck and that name because it's because that's places you want to go. But hold on, I've got it now that we've gotten into this.
You know that film as well with Harrison Ford, 6 Days, 7 Nights. That was at Tahiti as well.
Harrison Ford. What was it?
6 Days, 7 Nights. It was around that area.
6 days.
7 nights. It's a quite funny film. And he plays with his he plays with his plane as well. He's got a beaver plane, so he's playing with he's flying his plane.
So have you been to Hawaii or Tahiti?
No, these are the places we definitely want to go.
Well, there's something else I was going to ask you a minute ago, but I lost the thought. Anyway, so you can't compare those. So I'm trying to find the name of the two series: Below Deck Mediterranean and Below Deck the other ones, so I could give you the name.
I'll have a look. I'll search for Below Deck for both of them.
Hold on, no. There's another way of doing this. Tahiti is a part of what? Polynesia, French Polynesia.
Polynesia, yes, that's it.
Okay, so French Polynesia, actually it's not French Polynesia, it's just Polynesia, period.
Polynesia, yeah.
French Polynesia is another subset of, French Polynesia is another subset of Polynesia, and Tahiti is a subset of Polynesia also.
Yes.
So anyway, you want to go to Polynesia, somewhere in Polynesia. So anyway, so let's get back to Greece for a second, and then we'll go back to NLP. So you went to Greece. You went to which island?
Kefalonia, because my sister is married to a guy from Kefalonia. So I've
spell it. Spell it.
There are two ways to spell it. One is Kefalonia, Kefalonia, the way you hear it. Or you can also see it spelled CEPH.
Yeah, I see that.
That's the other way.
So when I was working with this this IT person at the Treasury Department, the Greek guy, and I asked him, I said, if you had Bill Gates' money, you were the richest guy in the world, never had to work another day in your life, where would you live? And guess where he told me?
Kefalonia.
No, it wasn't Kefalonia. It was the island, the Greek island he was born on. And I don't remember which one it was. It's unimportant, but it was Greece.
Yes.
Okay, it just happened to be his island.
Yeah, just to let you know, Bill Gates was in Kefalonia a couple of years back. Oprah, he was there a couple of years back. They're hiring boats, obviously, and they go there private. They're hiring boats on about 250K a week, and they go there. All the Hollywood guys like to be going to Kefalonia as well. The big guy, like Spielberg, likes to be going over there. It's magic. Every island is 200 big islands. There are 2,000 islands. 200 are the big ones.
That's why I like to watch Below Deck, because the one series you get to see the Mediterranean, which I'm not rich enough to go travel the Mediterranean, right? So
no, you don't need to be rich. Come on, come over. You'll find it cheap enough ticket. I'll get you accommodation down here. Come on.
Right.
You'll come
but no,
down
the
here.
accommodation is cheap. It's the travel that's expensive.
You can find the right time of the year if you do it through the right way. Okay, you can find cheapest tickets, not very expensive ones. You can do them through Ireland.
So where are you at right now?
I'm in the UK. I'm just outside Leeds.
Okay, so it
Central,
rains,
north UK.
It's kind of rainy there, isn't it?
It's very rainy. If you look outside, I don't know if you can see my window. At the moment, it's very rainy.
Yeah. So I don't want to go where you're at. I want to go to Greece.
Yeah, I know. Me too. But again, if I want to touch another thing on that, is that a lot of people from Greece come to the UK and they're getting depressed. The reason for it is because they're trying to find what they don't have. They try to find the UK, they try to find the blue and the white, they try to find Greece in the UK. And this is, if you travel to another country, if you go to another country, particularly if you try to go to live in another country, and you're trying to find there the things that you left behind, this is a guaranteed ticket to be depressed. what you need to do is you need to find out the new things over here. You know, UK has got, you know, the dark greens, it's got, you know, the gray sky, but also through the rain, then, you know, a few days later, you're going to have the sunshine. You just need to know, you know, just to use it. You don't leave the sunshine, the UK, and stay inside. You just go out to make the most of it.
Well, in Hawaii, it rains pretty much every single day, right? But that's why it's so
It's the opposite than Greece.
so beautiful there. That's
Yes.
why there's so much vegetation.
Exactly.
But
Yes,
you know, the one thing you got to make sure you think of if you go to Hawaii,
yeah, go on.
there's one thing you need to remember. There's one thing that's more important than anything else in the whole world. It's more important than where you're going to get your next meal.
Go on.
Okay. Okay. So you're on the Hawaiian island, right? And you're looking out into the beautiful ocean, right? Okay. I used to know a Hawaiian guy. He was a big, heavyset kahuna guy, you know, and he fixed my AC frequently with this apartment complex I lived in. And he said, the one thing you got to remember when you're in Hawaii and you're looking out at the ocean, he said, look for the dolphin. And why do you look? Do you know why you look for the dolphin?
No.
Because if the dolphin are not there, guess who's out there?
Oh.
The shark.
Okay.
It's either the great whites or the
Yeah.
dolphins. One of them is out there. If it's not the dolphin, don't go swimming because the great white's out there.
Okay.
So when you go swimming, look for the dolphin. If the dolphins are out, you can go. If the dolphins are not out, do not go swimming because you will get eaten.
Yeah, again, I think, I don't know if that is one of the things that came out because of the Jaws, because I swam in Maldives and I swam with dolphins and I swam with sharks, and I don't think that the animals are as much as TV and the movies present them. I found them the opposite. When I was in Maldives, okay, we found.
You went to the Maldives.
Yeah, I've been to the Maldives.
Is it prettier than Greece?
It's different. I love them both.
Oh, hold on, stop. Before you go on, I give you Bill Gates money. Where are you going to live, Greece or Maldives?
I don't like staying in one place. I'll have different places in the world, and
I
I'll
know,
travel
but
in
I
between.
mean, I'm just saying, your house. Where
Yeah,
are you going to
I'll
put
have one
yourself?
base in Greece. I'll definitely have one base in Greece. I want to have one base in Greece. One base I want to have in probably in Hawaii, and probably one somewhere in the east, like Tibet.
Yeah. Well, what I figured is, if you got Bill Gates money, what you do is you have the same type of ship that's on below deck. It's a super yacht, right? And so you
No.
spend a week in the Maldives, or 2 weeks or a month. Then you go and spend a week in Hawaii. Then you go spend a week in Tibet, and you go wherever you want.
I actually, on a similar subject, on different sort of way of doing this. There are a lot of guys that actually living out of creating channels, YouTube channels, and going around the world on sailing boats. I'm following at the moment 3 YouTube channels. I love these guys. The one is called SV Dilos. The other is they're American ones. So and at the moment they're traveling around the world for 10 years, and they live actually. They sold everything. They bought the boat, and what they do is, instead of a 9-to-5 job, they just live the life of their dreams with their boats, traveling around the world, and every week they put in a video up on YouTube. Look at SV Dilos. I'll send you the links as well.
Just send me an email with those.
Yeah, and he's actually an IT guy. He used to be an IT guy, electronics guy, an IT guy, and because of his
he lives from YouTube revenue.
Yeah. And for the past 10 years, they've been, I think, around the world for about 3 times at least over the past 10 years. And when they started the channel and everything else, it was him, his girlfriend at the time, his brother, and there were about 6 or 8 people on that. He's a 50-footer yacht, quite a French one. It's a 50-footer though. But now all the others gone, and it's only him and his girlfriend, which now became his wife, and they have a young child now, which is about a year old, and they live all on the boat. And now at the moment, somewhere North US, there is another one which called Uma, and this again, they're English guys. I think the one is they're English. One is English. She is, I think, I can't remember if they're both English, but they gone to the US. They got the boat from over there. They start from there. At the moment, they're in Norway, and they're traveling over in the snow. They just love it. They love exploring. So they love being over there. Whereas at the moment, the other one is in North US, and it's very hot at the moment. And the third one I'm doing is called Project Atticus. There were two guys, a couple. They're working on a private big yacht, and they decided to go off the yacht now and to go live their dream. So they fall in love and they've gone out, and they found a small boat to do a project. So a 36-footer only. It was a piece of crap, but the body was $3,000. It took them 3 years to do it up. All the time they were doing it up, they were doing YouTube channel. That's how they started the channel. Then they started going around the world. So they left from Maine, I think, and then gone all the way down to Panama. With $1,000 in their pockets. They ran out of money. So they started working on shipping yards because they learned now so much about boats, so they could build everything and doing things. And then they got money again, and they start going, and through their YouTube channel, they start making, their living. And their boat last, I think 6 months ago, it was completely gone because he found that the wood had completely got rotten. So it needed to need a new project. So he's done fundraising through the fundraising websites. So the followers put the money in, and he bought a new boat for $200,000. Now they're living on their boat of the dreams, which is a 40-footer, beautiful boat, a lot better than their first one. And now they're somewhere up in Maine doing some projects because that boat it was set up as a day cruiser. So now they're building it up to be an ocean cruiser because now they want to cross the Atlantic and the Pacific. So at the moment they're preparing the boat. So I'll send you the links for all the YouTube channels. They're absolutely amazing, all these guys, and they live 100% from YouTube and the people, how people supporting them. So it's just a different, completely world, different. We live on the same world, but then we realize that the different ways of actually living and living the life of your dreams, really. So
when I first sent you emails, my introduction, did I send you an email that asked you questions about hypnosis, like QHHT and all that? Did I mention?
No, I don't. And if you've sent me, I didn't probably had time to go through all that stuff because, like I said to you, I don't. If you remember, at the moment, I've sold my house. We sold our house, and then we had to go to another house, and that fallen through. The guys that pulled it off the market. So now we're in a situation where we need to be out of our house within 4 weeks, but we don't have another house to go to. So at the moment, all our spare time at the moment, it goes on house hunting. So I didn't have a lot of time to look through things.
So, hold on.
But I will definitely go through them.
Here we go. Yeah. Hold on, here you are on LinkedIn. I'm going to send you. Let me see if I've got it. I may have already sent it to you.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. No, okay, wait, hold on. No, I didn't. Okay, I sent you just a straight introduction. Okay, not the questions. So I have a set of questions that I ask hypnotherapists
Okay.
at the end of my introduction.
Okay.
And,
far away.
Hold on a second. I'm going to send them to you on LinkedIn. So we'll have them instantly, and you can answer them as we're on this interview.
Okay.
So I'm going to send you my signature too, which is actually worth. That's worth something, I would think, to anybody who wants to search stuff. Okay, here we go. I sent it to you on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Okay, so I
So
want
which
you to.
so is it the first which link of all of them is?
I don't want you to go into the links. I want you to look at the questions. So
Okay.
at the very top, it says, as a hypnotist, have you? Okay, so I want you to answer each of my questions verbally on our conversation here.
Okay. So attempted to remove or removed an attaching spirit. I have what I felt it was, and I also feel I have helped spirits go, the white to the light, to the white light, if I can call it that. That's how it felt to me anyway.
So how many times have you done that?
I don't know, 4 or 5 times. When
Is there one of those? There's one of those events that stands out in your mind more than the rest that comes to your mind as I speak about it?
No, because it's one of them. It's like I said to you, when I'm going to work with somebody, I'm going to the trance. So now I'm in a conscious state.
Stop.
Gone.
So when you're working with people and you go into a trance, is that your normal way of working with clients?
Yeah, that's how I found is the best, because at that stage I feel that it's not me, it's not my ego in the way. My ego and my sort of the way I see the world is not interfering with their healing. I'm just, in a way, I'm just becoming like a medium to pass through, the healing to them, or whatever work I'm doing with them. So I find that my intuition is opened up and all my senses are opened up when I'm putting myself in that state. So I'm open to them, to help them.
Okay, so let's get into what you're telling me. Let's get into it in the sense that, okay, I want the listeners to experience what you do as if they're you, not as the client.
Okay.
But let's take this scenario that you're talking about, and tell me, when you're in this trance, what do you experience as the person in the trance?
Okay, I am going inside, and to me, to go inside, I do it by actually now, literally by just pulling my eyes up and looking to my third eye, and just relaxing my body. And that's how, for me, it's good enough to let myself go, just let go to wherever he wants to go, where my intuition, where the universe wants to take me.
So, stop for a second. So you close your eyes, you focus straight ahead or straight ahead and up a little bit?
No, nowhere, because I'm closing my eyes for a second.
Just close your eyes.
As I'm doing it now. So I'm just doing like that now. Just I'm looking up, you'll see my eyes under my closed eyes, you'll see that looking up. And then you feel a feeling here, don't you, when you look up. And that is sort of, I have programmed over the years, I suppose, through hypnotherapy, doing so many years. So I program myself that, when I'm looking up like this is the signal, to actually start dropping into theta state. So relaxing and forgetting, what's happening around me, just looking inside me and just becoming one with whatever is out there, the universe, the energy, I don't know, the force, whatever you want to call it.
So
this thing is out there.
So when you're in this, when you relax, okay, first I got to back up. So when you have your eyes closed and you go into what you say is the theta state, is that theta is what, below or above delta? It's below, right? Or it's above? It's above, right? Okay,
It's
so
above
you
it's
get,
above delta. Yeah, delta is
so
from
you get to theta,
0 to 4.
you're not in the dream state, you're okay, so all right, let's
So we're
get off.
between theta and alpha really, because when we open the eyes, I think we cannot stay between 4 and 8. I found that you need to be we're between alpha and theta.
Okay, so let's go off topic for a second. Sort of, not really off topic, but okay. So you when you're falling asleep, right? They say that you dream when you're in when you go into REM, rapid
Yeah,
eye movement, and you have that when you're dreaming, right?
yeah.
So do you understand? This is a sort of a consciousness quiz question. Do you understand when you start dreaming and when you stop dreaming as you're falling asleep? Or
No,
as you're
not me personally.
so
No,
here's
I don't
here's
know.
the
In the
here's
beginning, sometimes I do it consciously because I want to think about something. So I put my mind. I'm going to dream. I'm going to sleep
right.
by thinking of something, and I'm asking my subconscious mind to take that and work through it through my dream. Like Archimedes. That's how he found the Eureka. And I was saying, that stuff. That's how that is done it unconsciously. We do it because of our training. I'm doing it consciously. So if I have an issue I want to work with, okay, I'm thinking about it and solutions that I could do, or I'm asking myself, my subconscious mind before, I'm putting my attention into it. And probably that's something that I would like to touch on, the attention of the matter to it. But I'm putting my attention into it and solutions about it. And then I'll let myself go. And then everything happens during the sleep. And then I'm coming out with something, to have to work with when I wake up. And one thing I think is very important to put into for your listeners is people to understand that the subconscious mind doesn't understand don'ts, doesn't know nots. What it knows where we put the attention to. So if then somebody says, oh, I'm thinking positively and I'm thinking, well, and I don't want traffic on the road, I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want that, and they have that all the time in their life. Why? Because your attention is on that. Your attention is on the things that you don't want to have in your life. So they have to understand that if you don't want to have that, you don't think about that. You think about ways to live with, having abundance in your life. And this is, I think, the most fundamental mistake people do in their life. And I was doing it as well. Up to the time I realized one good that will be interesting to say that, and that's how I had programmed my subconscious mind. It was that actually I've rebuilt my life to I so far. And that was because I had programmed my mind to do that. Because I believed through the things that my daddy was telling me and other people were telling me, in the people around me, that, I wasn't good enough. So if I was going to be somebody to help people, I wouldn't be good enough to help people to rebuild their lives because, I've never done it. So I had to do it at least once because, if you rebuild your life once, it may be a fluke. But then I had to do it twice to prove that, rebuild my life, I can do it. That's where the ego is coming in. So realizing the belief system we have inside us is the most important thing to be able to achieve the life that we want to live.
So, okay, so I'm going to back up, go back to where I was at, the question I was formulating. Okay, so you, first off, I have to say that when you're dreaming, I have to give you the answer to the question I was asking. And then the question is, when do you start dreaming and when do you stop dreaming? And the answer is, it starts occurring halfway between awake and asleep. That's when you start dreaming. And you finish dreaming halfway between awake and asleep when you're coming out. They're called the hypnopompic and hypnagogic states, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So do you remember in your life any time when you have experienced in any kind of detail either of those states, the hypnopompic or hypnagogic state, where you're open to a world which is very strange, and it exists between awake and asleep, where the dreaming is there, and it's a very strange place. Have you ever experienced that? That's my question.
Yes, I have.
Okay, so without getting into details, let me ask you another question. Okay,
yeah.
so and we may come back to that if we have time, if you have time. I have plenty of time. So when you go into trance, working with people, do you go deep enough to where you're at the state where you start dreaming, or are you way above that? Because you said you're between alpha and theta, which is not anywhere near a delta.
Yeah. No. I'm up. I'm between alpha and theta, because obviously I am on that stage, but I need to be able to communicate with them. So I'm not doing it unconsciously. I've got to, I'm talking to them. So I'm doing it consciously. So I'm in that kind of state that, between alpha and theta. So I need to communicate, talk to them, because I need to bring them, to my field. Oh, sorry, I'm getting into their field, and then I'm listening to what they say in me, because again, as we know, your client will tell you what he wants if you listen well enough.
So let's pretend for a moment that you're in that state right at this moment. Okay, you don't need to be, but let's just pretend you are, because you know what it's like to be there.
Yeah.
Okay. So your eyes are closed and you are talking with your
I'm closing
client.
my eyes only for a moment just to go in, then I'm opening them up, yeah?
Right. Okay, so you're not going deep at all unless you're very good at going very deep instantly. Some people are. I used to know a lady and her husband, he could snap his fingers and she would go into trance instantly, like nice trance, just instantly. And to this day, I'm still kind of jealous that he can do that with his wife. But, but anyway, so in the state of between theta and alpha, when your eyes are closed and you're just beginning to talk to your client, what is unique about that mind state in that moment that gives you an advantage of any kind over just sitting there talking?
And that's where we get into the point of I don't really know. Is the intuition that's talking, is a feeling. I don't have a science to give you.
You've just given me the answer. Okay. The answer is you can't say you don't know. You do know. You're just not. You just have a you.
Okay. I don't have a conscious.
You have control of your ego.
Way.
You have control of your ego. Okay. You do know the answer though. The answer is that your intuition opens up.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Is there anything else that's unique about how you work with people besides the fact that you go into alpha, theta state to open up your intuition? Is there anything else that's unique? Not a particular technique that you do with them, but anything that's just totally unique about your techniques in general that you want to mention, that you tend to do with all clients?
Yeah, I think that I'm tuning into their, I don't know, energy field, if I can put it like that. I cannot describe it in words because they don't exist as concepts that I know of. It's something that I'm experiencing, something I'm doing. And then again, I'll write a book about all this the same way my wife is writing about her experiences.
So answer the second question.
Okay. A client through experiences that occur between incarnations. I have taken them to previous lives.
But that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, the between bit, no.
Okay, so do you remember a guy named Michael Newton?
No, don't know.
Okay, you need to Google him, or actually don't Google him. Go to Amazon.com and look him up on Amazon, and you'll see his books. I don't know how many books he wrote. I didn't follow him completely. I read
Michael Newton, you said, yeah?
Yeah. So he did like 10,000 clients. He had a big following. I don't think he's still around, to be honest. I doubt if he's still alive. But
yeah.
He had like this huge clientele over the years. But he focused on the space between incarnations. Okay. And he wrote a book called Life Between Lives or something of that nature. And I got into this with my clients, because I was doing past lives, and then I decided, well, I can do future lives. So I started taking people into future lives, because past lives got kind of boring. So I went into future lives and realized, after realizing I could do that, and that got kind of boring too. So then I got into between lives. That's where it got interesting. Okay, so you might want to, if you want to really wow your clients, you might want to not just take them in the past lives, but also in the future lives, and then after that into interlife experiences between incarnations. That's where it's really, they're really going to go, wow, that was an experience. They'll be more wowed over that, more than past lives or future lives. Okay, so I guess we've already gone through. You haven't taken people through future lives yet, have you?
I'm taking them to future states that they want.
Which states?
Future states and future state of their life that they want to be. So.
Oh, you're talking about in this incarnation, in the current incarnation?
Yeah, in this one.
I'm talking about future incarnation.
Sometimes things pop up because they're open. So obviously a channel is open, so they're going to everywhere. So they have been to things that they don't see time anymore. So they see themselves in different stages. So we don't even know if that's before or after.
You're saying they go to places that you're not sure where they are.
Yes.
You're not sure if they're past, present, or future, or what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So how about number 4?
Okay. Sorry, I've lost the close the. Yeah, we have 4.
That's okay. I can ask it to you.
Explore the life purpose of an individual who didn't know what that was. Yes, a lot. And that takes a lot of NLP work. Takes a lot of peeling the onion, as we call it, I suppose. And you get layers and layers and layers until they can really truly find themselves, really.
So
it's an amazing journey.
Since you answered it that way, you're kind of steering into NLP. So I learned one day of NLP. There's only like 2 techniques I know. One is the one where you take them into the theater. They're not living the life; they're watching it up on the screen. And then they cut the screen in half, where they're watching the life twice, and they cut the screen in quarters, so they're watching the life 4 times, but they're not experiencing it, and they're kind of moving backwards from the life, making it have less energy on them, where it's less influencing them, right? So that's one technique. The other technique I learned was like if let's say you're eating too much and you're going to the refrigerator and picking out. And so what they do is they would teach you to go to the state of mind that you get into when you go to eat. When you're getting a bad state of mind and you go to pick out, go to a state of mind like that. It's the worst state of mind you can think of. And then instantly, as soon as they get there, you take them to the most positive state of mind they've ever been in their entire life, instantly. And then you go back and forth between these two so that whenever they go into the negative state of mind that causes them to get up and go eat, instantly, they automatically, without your assistance in the future, they automatically pop into the very positive state of mind. So
you
they never
usually do that with anchoring, yes.
Right, and you do the anchoring, you touch their body, yes. Okay, so I know those two techniques. Give us at least one. I don't want to steal all your techniques, but give us at least one. Give us at least one NLP technique that I haven't mentioned that you like to use frequently that works with your clients. It's not those two.
Okay, there is a version of that, which is you changing. Again, it came to me as an intuition with a guy that he couldn't talk properly, and I just could see him, and through the energy, what I could see is his mouth. He was trying to talk a lot faster than his brain. His brain, I could see his brain just going like that, and he couldn't express himself because you wouldn't stop his brain down to be able to talk. So one of the techniques you can do for that is get the things on the wall, you know, on the screen or whatever, see the screen, all the bad things that you have, look at the movie there, and look at the movie, that bad movie that is going to, you know, to unfold. And then as that you see it going once, and then you start coming backwards. You can start coming backwards, the movie backwards. And then you can go to play it again. But then when you go to play it, imagine that you have some buttons, and then the volume goes down. And then out of that, as you're going to play it the next time, there's no volume into it. Then what you do is you add, the next time you're going to play it through, you know, for them to see it in their mind, you play it and then you drain out the color. You turn the color, you have a button and you turn the color out. So where you see it all very vivid in front of you on colors and everything, all the colors draining out and it's black and white like an old movie. Okay, so the subconscious mind starts making all these, you know, things inside, you know, that's an old thing that's gone, you know, all this kind of thing. And then what you do out of that, at the end, you can actually change it, and then you start playing some really funny music when it plays. So then you change in completely. Seriously, this is one of the best techniques, and I've done it many times, and it works so successfully. And where you had a person who was a really bad depression or from a incident, only about, you know, just the beginning of the session. By the end of the session, they're coming out and they can think the incident and laugh, and they laugh it off. So it's just so amazing.
Okay, so let's see. Number 5.
No, I don't think I had. And I
When
say I don't think I had.
contacts, I'm talking specifically. I'm talking about where I've had. I've talked to people. I think I interviewed somebody who said that I asked her that question, and she said that sometimes aliens will come through talking through her client. Not demons, not humans, not whatever, but it's actual aliens will talk through the client. And I haven't personally experienced that, but that's sort of along the lines of what I was telling you earlier about what's his face's stuff.
One of the things is
William Baldwin stuff.
Yeah, one of the things I'm convinced that there is other intelligent forms out there. It's a dry cut evidence. Okay, I don't know about reptilians. I don't know about everybody else, anything else. You know, all these different races. But where we can see them, 100% is even on the evidence that we have from the astronauts, okay, and on one tape that I don't know if you've seen the what's called the hidden, or not the hidden, the secret tapes or something like that. It was a guy in Australia that was recording all the programs from the
NASA.
space, yeah, the NASA transmissions, yeah, the secret NASA transmissions. So we head out of them, and in one particular one is where, and it's all out on YouTube and everywhere, which is where they try to dock up to the space station, and you cannot see all these different lights going there, and suddenly all these lights go and then changing, go from here to there and everywhere. And you know, the guy from NASA was trying to say, oh, this is lights, this is a normal thing and everything, and this is I don't know, he was trying to say that you were fireflies or something like that in space or something stupid. But yeah, you can see it, and you can see that there's a form of intelligence there following them up and looking at them, and then when they go close, and then eventually they're going away.
Well, if you ever get a chance, if you ever do get cable TV, you get back in the position where you want cable TV, and I know you don't have time for it at this time, but if you're ever in the future get where you have cable, okay, you should watch there's a TV series called Secret of the Skinwalker Ranch. And you're familiar with the Skinwalker, right? You know what a Skinwalker is? You don't know what a Skinwalker is?
No.
Okay, so there's a link on my website. Under, I guess it's under free books. I don't know if I could find it really quick, but I can't remember exactly where it's at, but anyway, there's a link to the Google, Google Books, right? As opposed to not Google, but you know Google Books. Have you ever, you know what that is?
Yeah.
Where you get to see part of the book. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a link somewhere on my website, or you can find it just through Google and choose books instead of regular search. Okay, so it's called Hunt for the Skinwalker. Hunt for the Skinwalker. It's written by Colm Kelleher and another fellow. They're like PhDs, but they wrote a book called Hunt for the Skinwalker. You got to read that book, but you can read a lot of it for free online. But if you get a chance, watch that series, Secret of the Skinwalker Ranch, because that ranch, the Skinwalker is it's kind of an old long story, but the Utes and the Navajo Indians were allies back in the Old West, and then when the soldiers came in, the Utes started trading Navajo to the soldiers for guns and horses. So the Utes got into their black magic, and they put on wolf skins, and they did some black magic rituals to where they could shapeshift into a wolf from a human form. And they kind of cursed the land in the Uinta Basin, where as the shapeshifter, they basically are trapped between they're trapped in the astral plane, where do you understand that astral beings can access the earth plane?
I understand the difference between the planes.
Well, okay, so if you've I once interviewed a guy who really was into astral travel. Some people are into astral travel, and it's like out-of-body experiences, except you're actually going to the astral plane. And when you get out of body, when you do out-of-body travel, a lot of that is not on the physical plane, it's on the astral plane.
Yes.
You think it's the physical plane, but you're really not on the physical plane. You're on the astral plane.
Yes.
Right. And it looks like you're going across the earth, flying over the earth. You think it's the physical plane, but it's really not. It's the astral plane.
Yeah.
And you like go to your buddy's house, and you go into his house, and you say, "Hey, buddy, wake up." And he wakes up, and he sees you. He sees your astral body, and you prove that you actually went there to the physical world and woke him up in your astral body, right? But during that travel, you like when you went to his door was like different than you remember it, right? And you go into his dwelling and you wake him up and he remembers you, but the door was different. That means you're traveling through the astral plane back to the physical plane, because the door wasn't the way you remembered it, because the astral plane is a memory of the physical plane, but your memory is not perfect. So it's a recreation of the physical plane. So the only reason I brought all that up is because so these guys, these Indians who are working with black magic and becoming skinwalkers, they're trapped on the astral plane, and they can come back to the physical plane. And on this ranch, the owners were the Gormans, right? They bought the ranch. Nobody knows who owned it before the Gormans, except the Gormans would know. But they bought the ranch, and then these aliens, they were seeing all kinds of aliens and stuff, and there was these blue orbs, and the blue orbs actually killed their dogs. And that kind of drove them to sell the ranch to Robert Bigelow, who's the only person on Earth who owns 2 space stations. And he has his own aerospace company, and he had there's a hotel chain that he owns, which he made his money through. I forgot the name of it, but anyway, it's not important. So he had the ranch, the Skinwalker Ranch, for a while, and then he worked with the U.S. government to try to figure out why that ranch was so weird, right? And what was causing, the myth or the history about the Skinwalker, the Navajo cursing the land, that doesn't quite explain the aliens and the other things that are part of that land. There's alien, that are coming over there, all kinds of weird things that are not just Skinwalker related, right? So, so then Bigelow, having worked with the government for like 20 years trying to figure out what's going on with that ranch, they finally gave up. They sold it to a guy named Brandon Fugel. He's a billionaire fellow, and I mentioned him earlier, but I didn't mention him by name. Anyway, he's the current owner of the ranch. So he started he's the largest land buyer in Utah, right? So he bought that ranch, and he started a TV series called The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. Okay, so I watched the only reason I'm bringing this up because I really haven't gone away from our topic. I'm making a big circle. Okay, so last night in the most recent episode of Secret of the Skinwalker Ranch, there's a whole history of what they're doing there. I can't go into it because we don't have time for it. But at some point in the most recent episode, they get to this point where they said, "Show me." He says, Travis Taylor, who's the scientist who's part of the team researching the ranch, he says, "I was seeing lightning," and they're like looking at this one replay of video of that same time frame where he's out doing these experiments, and there's no lightning. So they're like, what's going on? And they start looking at this video frame by frame, and they start seeing this alien craft. Okay, this was shot like a week ago, less than 2 or 3 weeks ago, right? This is very current stuff, right? So over this ranch, they're seeing this alien craft, and the craft is it's like a creature. It's not like a saucer or a triangle, or it's like a squid, this huge squid. it's a creature looking thing, right? And it's like flying around and it just like shoots off and it's going like 1,000 miles an hour. What living creature can just like shoot across the sky at 1,000 miles an hour, right? If let's say it was a living creature, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just the pretending it's exactly what you're looking at, right?
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, you can see that if you look at the most recent episode and you stop at a certain, you go to a certain point in that episode, you get to see an alien craft that was filmed in the last 2 weeks, right?
Well,
Which is stranger than most of them that you see. Okay. So anyway,
there is if we're talking that, I'll send you some links, and there is a film with one U.S. actress, which she was a dancer and Hollywood actress as well, that now she's about 85, 86, and she's living over the mountains in where most of the alien incidents they've been reported, and she had a story with other civilizations.
Which mountains?
It's over in the close in Peru, isn't it? I can't remember. I'll send you the links. The only thing I need to ask is that, because I've just realized, is 20:53 my time, and in about 7 minutes I've got a session, 6 minutes. So if you want to go through the last 2 questions.
Yes, sir. Have you used QHHT?
No, I don't know what it is.
Okay, and is there any advice? This last question is for me personally.
Okay. And I think you have one before, which is which is the best one to build your practice, yeah? Best marketing technique.
The question is, let's say you had, were good at hypnosis, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you hadn't built up a practice like you have,
yeah.
right? Of all the things you've done to draw clients to you,
mm-hmm.
which marketing technique or anything that you've done beyond the actual therapy itself, word of mouth, beyond that, is there anything you've done that drew clients to you to where your practice was enough to pay your rent and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think it's 2 things on this. I think if you want to go out as a therapist, okay, the only real way you can actually go through is through word of mouth. Now, if we use any of the other tools, okay, we have to go through the marketing sort of way you go. So, and you have to attract people to you. So you can do it through Facebook or you can do it through Google. But then, this is, the people that there will be interested and they will raise their hand about the information you're going to provide to them. So then you have to turn this to paid clients by creating products for them. And the way to do it is by actually providing a lot of free information to them. So through that, you'll connect to them, and then you'll be able to make them come to see that you are a figure of authority in your field. I think that's the way, that I would approach that.
Well, since we have about 5 minutes left, I know you got to get ready for your client. What do you want to say about yourself, your website, or your phone number, or your email address, or anything about how people would reach you to give you more to give you money for hypnotherapy? What would you promote yourself?
They can reach us through Facebook at the moment. We have Mind Synthesis, or if anybody searches for me, Constantinos Lambropoulos, and then you'll see me. And my profile on Facebook, you'll see me. I am in a brown bin when I was doing my first ice bath. So this is Mind Synthesis is our company, and we're building it up now step by step. Again, because I want to combine that work that I'm doing together with my wife. But there is so much information that I want to help people out with, which is particularly, I'm trying to put together not just hypnotherapy, not just tapping, not just energy, not just breathing, but the whole thing together. And that's where we are at the moment, is that through each one of us has got over 25 years experience working with people. And we have lots and lots and lots and lots of people that we work with. We probably work over 1,000 people each. And we have lots and lots of testimonials. I've got people through now that they lost their jobs, they lost everything, they lost their confidence, work with them. They've got jobs now, they're smiling, even through recession, and that's, or even through, so not recession, through, COVID. So I was going to lead to through that one to the last question you had, how somebody can actually build a thriving practice. To me, it's just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, and have confidence on yourself that you can do it. Because it's like when you come out to a dog, even if you are afraid the dog, even if you don't show it, the dog will smell it. The dog will know it because it's the energy. The same with clients. If you are not confident enough, when you go out to the client, he will smell it through intuition. Okay, so a person needs to feel really comfortable with their subject, and then have that confidence to get that out there. Feel that he's doing the right thing, and then that only happens by looking inside, from my point of view. Okay, so my point of view, you build the confidence up and you go out there based on your intuition, because maybe that hypnotherapy for some reason, maybe that is to fix yourself up, not necessarily that you have to make money out of it, but that may be a path to open you a door to another door. So that's what I found through my life, that you don't have to do a job. And one thing that I found that is the most important thing for people to understand, and this is one of my truths that I understood, is that don't live your days for making a living. Live your life by actually do what you feel is right. Do what makes you happy. That creates an amazing energy field around you and attracts people like a magnet. I think this is the biggest thing. What the mistake we're doing, because our parents coming out from World War, from doing all that stuff, and they're coming up, they say, you have to get a job, you have to get a degree to be able to get money and to do that. And we look everything as money. And we don't need money. We don't need anything. The only thing we need to do is to actually do what we love doing. And then the universe will take care about bringing us anything we need to be able to do it. I think that's the biggest lesson I've learned.
So is there any last thing you want to say to the listeners before I stop recording about yourself, your practice, your wife, anything you want to say?
Just to say that no matter what happens around you, you can have an amazing time. And I feel exactly like that now. And I hope all your listeners will have that too. So I'm hoping to pass all this energy that me and my wife feel to all yourself and your listeners and to all the world.
Well, you need a website, so I can help you with that. So if you don't have a website,
okay. We're working on the background on that. When I get around to do all the other stuff, when I find the house, I'll do this. Yeah, I've got my guys and I've got all the things doing it. It's
so
just
you got people working, webmaster, people know how to work.
Yeah. I've got all the things. It's already, I mean, if you go to the site, he exists, but we have taken it down at the moment. It's me that's stopping things. I don't have the time to put the information up. It's all there. It's just I haven't put all the information I want to put in the right way. And that's why it's not actually, we only use a Facebook channel at the moment and a little bit, as you saw, LinkedIn. But not a lot at the moment. I'm the stopping block at the moment.
You only got 1 minute, so
okay.
I'm gonna let you go to get ready for your client. And Kostas, right?
Yeah, Kostas.
Kostas, it was a pleasure. I hope you get plenty of clients through. I'm going to send you a link, with this from after I post it on YouTube, and I hope it brings you more of everything you need.
Thank you
Thank you
very
for
much,
being on
Klaus.
my show. Thank you for being on my show. You have a good day.
You too. Thank you very much.